I gotta be honest with you, I'm very tired because I haven't slept all that much in the last couple of days. Also because I watched Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi is the follow-up to Empire Strikes Back, was directed by Richard Marquand. This time around, George Lucas actually has screenplay credits. In the last one, he only had story credits and producer. This time around, he's a producer and he's also the screenwriter. This movie follows our heroes rescuing Han. Luke is already a Jedi, and the Empire has a new weapon that is a Death Star that is a little bit bigger. And I don't love this movie all that much. I honestly don't like it. George Lucas is someone who understands that art and money are equally important for film. You can tell that because when it's about the commercial stuff with Star Wars, he's a genius. He's very good at creating creatures and ships and all that stuff for people to buy. And young people and adults want to buy merchandise. He's a genius in that, but he's also an artist. And I think that most of his films, all the Star Wars movies that he's made, he always puts a lot of his heart. Return of the Jedi is the one that I feel that all the commercial stuff, all the commercial choices actually got in the way to create a compelling story. You can tell the things that he wanted to like merchandise of, like Leia, for instance. She changes wardrobe all the time. Oh god damn, Leia. Obviously to have different figures of Leia with different wardrobes. The creature design, like these pigs, these green pigs that have human bodies, it feels very childish. The interaction between the characters also.
I'm surprised they didn't ask you to do it. Well, who says they didn't, but I ain't crazy. You're the respectable one, remember?
I love you, man. The tone feels very different from Empire. In this film, it feels more family friendly, which I'm fine with it. It's just that don't get in the way of the story. I felt like a major drop in quality compared to the previous two films. That actually shocked me. I struggled to get invested in this story because everything feels so childish. And you can tell which storyline Lucas was really invested emotionally and which storyline he was very invested in giving entertainment to families. I know a lot of people love this movie and a lot of people have nostalgia for it, but I'm trying to be very like objective about it. And this film is not perfect. The first act suffers a lot in pacing for me. From the first act, I can't get invested because I don't know where the story is going exactly. I don't feel any urgency. I don't feel any stakes. They're just R2-D2 and C-3PO just getting into Jabba's palace, and apparently there's another Death Star, and the first scene of the movie is not an action sequence. It's not something mysterious happening or anything else. It's just Vader walking out of his ship and just talking to a general, and that's about it. So I was like, when the engine of this movie is gonna start, because I feel incredibly bored. Also, there's some action sequences or some scenes that are completely unnecessary. The first action sequence of Luke with the Rancor, I feel that scene could have been completely cut out. His first scene could have been when he grabs the green lightsaber. It would have been a better introduction to his Jedi Master skill. So after the first act on Tatooine, we get into Dagobah and Yoda is dying. Obviously, it's revealed that he has a sister. That's the other hope they had in Empire Strikes Back. That's one answer.
That boy is our last hope.
No, there is another.
The other answer that we needed is why Ben didn't tell Luke the truth. So here's his answer.
You told me Vader betrayed and murdered my father.
He ceased to be Anakin Skywalker and became Darth Vader. When that happened, the good man who was your father was destroyed. So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
Bullshit. The screenwriters wrote that because Darth Vader wasn't supposed to be Luke's dad in the first film, so they have to fix in some way what Ben said in the first film. And this is the way that they fix it. Like, really? You professional writers didn't have a better idea? Okay, fine.
A certain point of view?
So our heroes get to Endor because they have to disable the shield that is protecting the second Death Star, so the rebels can do the same maneuver that they did with the first Death Star in the first movie. So we meet the Ewoks. Apparently, the original idea was that our heroes got on Chewie's home planet. Instead of Ewoks, they were gonna be Wookiees. That idea was much better because I don't love the Ewoks. Some things that they do are cool, but most of them, again, it just feels so childish. And I I don't enjoy all that much. The film still suffers from pacing. There's a lot of pacing issues with the Ewoks because they get with this thing with Tripio. They're thinking that he's a godlike entity or something. Luke tells Leia that he's his sister, his brother. What the hell is wrong with me? I'm very tired. Jesus, I hate this idea. I gotta say it. I hate it. For some obvious reasons, but I don't know. Also because you could have introduced a new character that was Luke's sister, an interesting character, maybe a villainous character. Even the dialogue, what they say, the fact that they knew it all this time they knew it, and it's kind of weird when they say that because they kissed in previous movies. I don't like that choice. Obviously now has been impregnated in pop culture, but when you see it with objective eyes, even if you watch the prequels before the originals or watch the originals first, it feels weird. It doesn't work, in my opinion. It doesn't work. They do their best to like give some emotion to the scene, but I don't know, there's some aspects of the movie like Leia, there's not a scene that she acknowledges that her father is Darth Vader, for instance. Also, Han and Lando, when they meet again, they're just like, how are you doing, man? And that's it. Like, what happened in Empire doesn't matter. They're friends again. There are things like that that weren't resolved at the end of Empire that are just resolved like that. And it's kind of like, okay, like I said, Lucas really didn't care all that much about this storyline with Han and Leia. Han and Leia don't have that much development in this film. They're just having fun, and there's some scenes between them. But you can tell what's the heart and soul of this story, and that's Luke, Vader, and the Emperor. All the scenes with Luke and Vader, or Luke, Vader, and the Emperor are amazing, extremely well written, extremely investing. They're also much better directed than the rest of the movie. You can tell just with the lighting. And like, I really could say a lot of stuff about this sequence, but everything has already been said. Luke confronting the Emperor is like a lot of deep shit going on in his head. The thing with Vader and Luke gets emotional just with the first scene that they meet. When he cuts off his hand and he realizes he's robotic as he is. Like visual storytelling, man. Obviously, when Vader is changing his mind, and you can tell just with like subtle head movements. The shot of Luke carrying his father and his death scene, the line that broke me was,
I'll not leave you here. I've got to save you.
You already have.
beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. So the second Death Star is destroying the same way that the first one was. What surprised me about the second Death Star is that Lucas is a filmmaker that always wants to like bring something new to the table. But literally Return of the Jedi was the first or the only movie that he made in the Star Wars saga that felt very mediocre when it's about ideas. The trilogy ends. The Empire gets destroyed. Luke gets peace and calm looking at the ghost of his teachers and his father. Everybody's happy. The Ewoks are singing all that stuff. By the way, this is a hot take. I like the song of the special edition more than the original. I didn't grow up with the original song. A lot of people did. So, but when I heard the original song, I was like, the special edition one is much better. I'm gonna give Return of the Jedi a 6 out of 10. It felt like I hated this movie, but I kind of did. I didn't. Like, there's an aspect of the movie I really don't like. I felt bored. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. This time around that I watched it, I fell asleep for about 20 minutes. So, obviously, I really don't like this movie, but the movie is not that bad. I have to be objective. The film is a 6 out of 10. It's fine. I'm reviewing every single Star Wars movie except Rogue One and Solo. I'm doing a lot of stuff in this April and May for Star Wars because May the 4th be with you, and also Revenge of the Sith is re-releasing. So check that out, guys. And sorry if I looked kind of tired. I don't know if I look tired, but I have to film another video, by the way, after this one. So yeah, I'm not done. Thank you for watching, and take care of your time.